Keys jingle in my palm as I stand in front of the entrance to my very first professional studio loft. Not a rental room, not shared space, mine. Truly mine. The door unlocks with a crisp, satisfying click, and I step inside. I inhale deeply. The air is still rich with the sharp scent of photochemicals and fresh paint, clean, full of promise. Full of everything I've spent my whole life waiting for. This moment is supposed to be perfect. They waited 32 years for it. Hello? Beautiful, I whisper into the quiet foyer, trailing my fingertips along the smooth, newly painted brick wall. But halfway across the room, the feeling shifts. Something prickles at the back of my neck. My smile fades. I walk farther inside, my footsteps echoing on the bare concrete floor. When the main studio space comes fully into view, I stop dead. The room is empty. Not sparse. Not unfinished. Empty. Stripped. That horrible sinking feeling hits my stomach. That instant. Instinctive dread when you know something is terribly, horribly wrong. Where my 5 massive Pelican cases full of camera equipment should have been. The $15,000 worth of grant-funded professional gear. There is only nothing but dust flickering in the slanted afternoon light before my brain can even process the reality. My phone vibrates. I pull it out, a text from my sister. Chloe. It's a photo. My stomach turns acidic. Her musician boyfriend is in the picture. Smiling smugly while holding my brand new medium format camera, the camera I earned. The camera that was supposed to change my life. Under the picture, her message reads, "Thanks, sis. Mom said it's a career starter gift for his new music video. You're the best." My hands trembled around my phone. This can't be real. This can't be happening. But it was. And the worst part? It was my fault 5 days ago. 5 days ago. I made the mistake of announcing in the family group chat that I had won the Vogue Living Art Fund grant, $15,000. In elite camera equipment tied directly to my name. And my first major gallery show in Seattle. My big break. My dream finally beginning to come true. My mother Sandra had called immediately. "Oh, Felicia, that's wonderful. We are so proud of you." For once? I thought she meant it. Then the equipment company called to confirm Friday delivery. Today, the one day I had a freelance contract I couldn't reschedule, and before I even had a chance to work out a backup plan, my mother cut in confidently, "Honey, just have it delivered to my house. It's safer there than at your new studio anyway. I'll accept it for you." I actually felt touched. I actually believed she cared. What a joke. I sank down onto the cold concrete floor of my empty studio, letting the dust cling to my clothes. I didn't care. My whole life I've been the invisible daughter. The dependable wallet. I paid my own way through photojournalism school while Chloe dropped out of marketing. I paid her $5,500 credit card debt. Then the $1,801 after that. I send $800 every month so my nephews Noah and Leo never go without, while their mother takes vacations in Bali. My phone buzzed again. The boys love the camera. It's perfect for the music video. Mom said you wouldn't mind. You're so independent. Something inside me, something that had been bending under pressure for 32 years, finally snapped. I tolerated them taking my money. I tolerated being used. But this wasn't money. This was my life. My future, my first real chance. And they stole it and gave it away. Another buzz. Oh, BTW. Mom dropped off my old starter camera equipment at your studio. You're good with tech. You'll make it work. I lifted my head and looked around the barren room. There was no equipment. They didn't even pretend. No tears came. No scream. Just a cold, terrifying calm spreading through me. I stood up, brushed dust off my jeans, and wrapped my hand around my car keys so tight the metal cut into my palm. My mother's house was just a 20-minute drive away. I didn't even lock the studio. There was nothing left to take. I got in my car and drove straight to the suburbs. This ends today. I didn't knock. I used my old spare key, the one I should have returned years ago, and walked inside. There they were. My mother Sandra and my sister Chloe curled up on the couch, sipping white wine. Laughing at the TV. The pelican cases were nowhere in sight. Their smiles evaporated when they saw me. Chloe looked startled. My mother? Annoyed. What the hell is this? I asked. My voice was low, steady. Sandra set her wine glass down like I was inconveniencing her. Felicia, there is absolutely no need for that tone. You stole my equipment. Where is it? We didn't steal anything, Chloe shot back, crossing her arms like a spoiled teenager. Mom said it was a gift I nev, Felicia. My mother cut me off with that condescending, fake reasonable tone she uses when she's about to say something deranged. You live all alone in that tiny studio. Why do you need such professional things? Chloe's boyfriend has a real chance at a music career. He needs the equipment. Family shares. I stared at her, stunned by the sheer, breathtaking audacity. I need it for the Vogue exhibition, I said, my voice shaking with fury I couldn't contain. That grant is tied to that show. I don't just own that equipment, I am responsible for it. She sighed, bored, and took a long sip of wine. Oh, honey. About that? My blood went icy. Mr. Harrison from Vogue called here yesterday, she continued, waving her hand casually. I simply explained that you were overwhelmed with this whole new studio situation, that you couldn't possibly participate anymore. Luckily, he understood. They already found a replacement. I handled everything for you, so you don't have to worry. She smiled, thin, victorious. I couldn't breathe. She didn't just take the equipment. She deliberately sabotaged my only opportunity. You're upsetting the boys, she snapped. I looked behind her. Noah and Leo were peeking from the hallway. Frightened. The final manipulation tactic, using the kids as shields. I see what you're doing, Chloe hissed, stepping in front of them. You're traumatizing them over some stupid cameras. For a moment I felt the old reflex, guilt, begging me to swallow everything to keep the peace, but it faded instantly. I walked past them and knelt to eye level with my nephews. Sweethearts, I said gently. I'm not angry at you. I love you. But your mom and grandma took something that belonged to me without permission. Noah sniffed through tears. My eyes drifted to the corner of the room. My father. Mark, sitting silent in his usual chair, staring past me. Not even acknowledging my existence. Waiting for the conflict to end without him having to take responsibility. Same as always. I stood up straight. The clarity hurt, but it was sharp and necessary. I pulled my phone from my pocket. What are you doing? Sandra demanded. I held the phone up. You're right, I said. This is a family matter. But what you did is also a crime. I dialed 911. Sandra single quotes. Wine glass shattered on the floor. Felicia, don't you dare hang up that phone. Yes, I said to the dispatcher, voice eerily calm. I'd like to report a theft. Mark, my mother shrieked. Do something. She's calling the police on us. My father actually stood, took a half step forward, lifted a hand like he might stop me. For 1 second, he wasn't a silent observer. He was the enforcer she always wanted him to be. Our eyes met. Dad, I said quietly. Don't. Something wordless passed between us. 30-2 years of my silence. 32 years of his hand lowered. He sank back into his chair, small. Defeated, he made his choice. The next 20 minutes were chaos. My mother screaming between threats and begging. Chloe sobbing that I was ruining her life. Then, a knock. The house went dead silent. 2 officers stood at the door, a sharp-eyed woman and a man who looked like nothing surprised him anymore. We received a call about a theft. The woman said. My mother immediately rushed forward, her polished mask snapping back into place. Officer, thank goodness. There's been a terrible misunderstanding. This is just a silly family matter. My name is Felicia. Interrupted, stepping past her. And this is not a misunderstanding. I was prepared. I laid it all out, calm and methodical. I am a freelance photographer. I was awarded the Vogue Living Art Fund grant for $15,000, in the form of an equipment voucher tied to my name. I showed them the official award letter on my phone. The equipment was delivered to this address yesterday. I showed them the delivery confirmation email without my permission. My mother and sister took that equipment and gifted it to my sister's boyfriend. It showed them the text message from Clo complete with the photo of him holding me camera. The female officer's eyes narrowed. She looked at my mother and sister. "Ma'am, did you give this equipment away?" "It was a gift," Sandra treed. "Your voice honey sweet," she agreed. "That is not true." I said, my voice like ice. "And here is the email from Mr. Harrison at Vogue confirming my exhibition has been cancelled. Because Nimother called him yesterday to falsely report I was withdrawing." The Maleficent's expression darkened. He turned to his partner. "This isn't just theft, this is fraud. Grand fraud." The Maleficent looked at my mother. "Ma'am, this is no longer a family matter. This is aphilony. Theft by deception and fraud." The color drained from my mother's face. Chloe completely fell apart. "It wasn't me fault," she shrieked, pointing at Mimother. "She made me do it. It was Heredia." Chloe shooed up. Sandra hissed. No, she said if we did this. She said Felicia would lose the exhibition and she'd have to move back home to take care of Dad. She said Dad is sick and she didn't want to be the only one stuck doing it. A wave of nausea hit me so hard I almost buckled. I looked at my father. He was just staring at his hand silent. They weren't just trying to steal from me. They were trying to chain to break my legs, so I couldn't run and then hand me a bedpan. The female officer didn't even blink. She looked at me, mother and sister, her hand resting in her hip. "I don't care why you did it. Here's what happens now. You have two options. 1. You get all $15,000 worth of equipment. Every single piece back into this living room right now. Shepaused, letting the weight hit them. Or, well, I'm taking both of you downtown for grand larceny and fraud." It took 3 agonizing hours. 3 hours of Mimother, Sandra, screaming into her phone at Chloe's musician boyfriend, who was apparently in the middle of shooting his masterpiece on a rooftop somewhere. 3 hours of Chloe sobbing, saying he was going to break up with her. But the threat of a felony charge is a powerful motivator. Eventually, he showed up, dumping my 5 Pelican cases onto the driveway like garbage. The police officers stood by, clipboards in hand. As I opened each one under their supervision. It was all there. Technically, the main camera body had a long fresh scratch across the licked screen. The lens, my best lens, had a greasy fingerprint right on the glass. The boxes for the lighting kits were ripped open. "It's all here," my mother said, her voice tight with rage. "Are we though?" The female officer looked at me. "Ma'am, is this acceptable?" I looked at damaged equipment. It was salvageable. I could clean the lens. That scratch was cosmetic. "It's acceptable," I said. "I just want this to be over." After the police took my final statement and left, I loaded the gear into my carolone. My mother, sister, and father stood on the porch watching me. No one offered to help. I drove back to my studio in silence. The victory felt thievy. I lost the exhibition. My one big break was gone, destroyed by my own family. But as I sat in my studio surrounded by the gear I'd fought for, I knew I couldn't just give up. I pulled out my phone and dialed Mr. Sid Harrison at Vaga. I told him everything. The theft, the lies, the sabotage, the police report. I didn't make excuses. I just told him the truth. He was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was cold. "Felicia, what your family did is appalling, but my hands are tied. The exhibition slot has been filled. I can't give it back to you." My heart sank. "I understand. I just wanted you to know." However, he cut in. "I just lost my primary freelance photograph for our Seattle Architects web feature. The gig starts tomorrow. It's not a gallery show, but it's patent, it's Vogue living." "Can you do it?" It was a lifeline, a test. "Yes," I said, my voice steady. "Yes, I can. I won't let you down." "Good. My assistant will email you the details." "And Felicia, good work standing up for yourself." He hung up. He sat there for a minute, letting their leaf wash over me. It wasn't the future I'd planned, but it was a future. And then I opened my laptop. I opened a new spreadsheet and titled it Final Invis. I started typing line by line. My entire life as their ATM, close credit card debt. $2,215. Woo, Chloe's missed rent. $22,210. CBE monthly nephew support $800 dividend B month by 36 months to 8 grand total. $45. Ling ling. I stared at the number $45,000. I attached the spreadsheet to a new mail. I sent it to Sandra, Chloe, and me father. Mark, the subject line was final invoice. Payment not expected. The body of the email was short. This is what it has cost me to be your daughter and your sister. Consider this. My formal notice that the ATM is permanently closed. Do not contact me again. I hit send. Then I opened my phone, went to their contacts, and pressed block. My phone went silent. The silence was so total. It felt heavy. For one second, I felt like the worst person on earth, a monster. The guilt rose up in my throat, thick and suffocating. But then 5 minutes passed, and for the first time in 32 years, I realized I was breathing. Really breathing. The guilt didn't vanish. It was still there, buzzing in the back of my mind, but underneath it was this deep, profound sense of peace. I realized this wasn't the sound of betrayal. This was the sound of freedom. 6 months passed. 92 days of blessed, uninterrupted silence. My life transformed. That freelance gig for Vogue Living, the Seattle architect's fetcher. It went well. So well, they offered me a contract. The architect I photographed on that first assignment, Ryan, asked me out for coffee. We've been together ever since. My studio at Hollow Lofts, the one that started as a symbol of my failure, became my sanctuary. It was filled with my work, with light, with peace. But the question still haunted me, not what they did. But why? I was having coffee with my best friend. Maya, trying to explain it. I just don't get it. Maya, I said, stirring my cup. If I was such a burden, why not just let me go? Why actively destroy my one chance to succeed? Maya looked at me, her expression serious. Felicia, you need to stop seeing yourself as their daughter. You were never their daughter? You were a piece of their family system. I must have looked confused because she leaned forward. Think about it. In toxic family systems, everyone has a job. Chloe wastes golden child. She carried all their hopes, all their dreams. She could do no wrong. But you were the scapegoat. You carried all their burdens, their debt, their problems, their responsibility. You were the ATM, the caretaker, the pressure release valve. It clicked. The $800 a month, the credit card debt. Exactly, Maya said. And the system worked for them. As long as everyone played their part. But then you got the Vogue grant. She tapped her cup. That wasn't just success, Felicia. That was escape. You winning meant you didn't need them anymore. It meant the scapegoat was walking off the job. Y'all threatened to break the entire system. Your mother, she didn't sabotage you because she hates you. She sabotaged you to keep you. She had to pull you back down into your role. I just sat there. The truth of it, landing in my chest like a ton of bricks. She was right. They didn't attack me when I was failing. They attacked me the moment I was about to succeed. A few weeks later, my phone buzzed. An unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. It was my father, Mark. His voice was tired. Felicia. It single quotes S dad. The boys. Noah and Leo. They miss you. They keep asking for their Auntie P, please. I stared at the phone. This was the test. I called him back. They can come. I said, my voice neutral. I miss them too. But there are conditions. You and only you. I can bring them to my studio on Saturday. Mom and Chloe are not to come. Those are my terms. He hesitated. I could almost hear him calculating the storm he'd face Athone. Okay, he said finally. Okay, Felicia. This Saturday. The visit was normal. We built Legos on the studio floor. We ate pizza. The boys didn't ask about their mom or grandma. They just seemed happy to be there. As my father was helping them put on their coats, I had to ask. Dad, why?
He stopped his back to me.
Why? What? Honey, why did you never say anything? Not once, not about the money. Not about the equipment. Not ever. You just sat there. Mark was silent for a long time. He didn't turn around. He just looked out the big studio window at the Seattle skyline. Your mother, Sandra, he said, his voice quiet and rough. She's a storm. Felicia, a hurricane. Andy spent 40 years of my life learning how to survive storms. He finally turned, but he wouldn't meet my eyes. I learned that you just keep your head down. You stay quiet. You find the safest corner and you wait for it to pass. I thought if I just stayed quiet, the storm would eventually blow over. His voice cracked. I didn't realize that by keeping my head down all those years, I was letting the storm sweep you away. I'm sorry I didn't shield you. It just nodded. It wasn't an excuse. It didn't fix the 32 years of silence. It was the truth. It was an admission. I accepted his apology. Our relationship started again slowly from that day on my terms. He brings the boys over every other weekend. Just him and them. The ATM is still permanently closed. I heard from him that Chloe has to work 2 jobs now to support herself. My mother, Sandra, is alone. She doesn't understand. He says probably never will. Tonight, Ryan is here, helping me prep for a news hoot. My studio is filled with warm light and soft music. He hands me Alan's. His touch respectful, gentle.
You look around this space I fought for, this life I built.
It's not the one he planned. It's better. Have you ever had to choose between your family and your own future? Share your story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more.